2. Hi, my name is Noah Buning.
And John O'Malley.
And this is the Spancrete studio. In this studio, we studied the opportunity for the mass production of elements and the production of the field condition at the plane of the roof can act as a datum for the environmental influences on a building, specifically daylight.
I just wanted to send a special thank you to the engineers at Spancrete who met with us weekly to help develop our projects. A particular memory is when we went on site to visit and see precast being put into place. Our project is called the Trig, an aggregation of parts within a system to manipulate space and light. As our name might lead on beginning with the triangle, putting them together into an aggregation in which to create special systems, then using the drawing to further deconstruct those systems and draw out new relationships. These relationships produced a precast column, an inverted T, and a module, along with GFRC sleeves that slide into the module that rest on the beam that then rest on the column, putting that all together to create space. Working with the Spancrete engineers, developing details of how all this comes together in order to hide the inverted T precast beam to create a continuous underside. Then using the 1/4 inch model as a design tool to explore different spatial relationships, creating an organic surface to control the expansions and contractions of space, as well as natural light. The higher sun angles will allow for direct lighting, while the lower angle allows for diffused light to wash in. And here is a quick animation of our system as light moves throughout the day. Splitting the outer triangles creates the rain and sunscreen to help enclose the space. The skin hangs on a modular structure while the vegetation hangs off the skin, backed up by a hydroponic irrigation system, all coming together to create an exterior envelope of the building being enclosed by the sawtooth roof.
For the site, we decided to base our building on 3 main factors: the sun, the grid, and the river. The grid organizes our space north to south, with our beams following the east to west direction and the floor plates following that north to south direction. The most important space is placed on top of the building, that being the meeting hall for the community center, which receives the most daylighting as well as has a great view of the river and the surrounding city. Looking south on water, we can see our double height space between the 3rd and the 4th floors, and this space is the space we will be exploring. In the 1st floor, we enter through the east, and we see the lobby, which is flanked by a kayaking space, as well as 2 commercial spaces. There's an expansion in the ceiling above the lobby created by cutting the GFRC sleeves. We can see this cutting of the sleeves in our contour drawing here, with 2 smaller expansions above the kayaking space and the commercial space. In the rendering, we are looking east towards the main entrance and can experience this expansion in the roof. Moving on to the 2nd floor, we enter into the commons of the business incubator. There is an expansion in the ceiling above the commons, but the key feature is the hallway created by a sharp expansion and contraction to create a pathway without walls. We can see that sharp expansion and contraction defined by the collection of lines running north to south in our contour drawing shown here. In the rendering, we can see the sharp expansion and contraction in the hallway looking north. As we enter the lobby space of the 3rd floor, we can now see into the double height space and the non-egress stairwell that helps create movement between the lobby and the meeting hall above. In the contour drawing, we see that there are no contours for the ceiling of the 3rd floor, as the ceiling of the 4th floor influences the contour and cutting of the ceiling in the double height space. In the rendering, we see the double height space influenced by the contours of the 4th floor, as well as our unique double height columns that help us span these 2 floors. Finally, into the meeting hall of the 4th floor, we experience another expansion and can see this expansion in the following rendering. In this rendering, we are looking east over the non-egress stairwell. In the long section, we can experience the expansions from the front through the building and as well as the large expansion created in the second floor and our smaller 3 expansions in the first floor. In the short section, we can see the sharp expansion and contraction that creates the hallway on the second floor, as well as the cuts in section in the long direction that show the wide span that they cut through the building. In our lighting diagrams, again, we can see the dappling of light created by the high sun angle in the summer and the glowing effect that is created by the low sun angle in the winter in the lower drawing. In this lighting diagram, we can see how we can influence electrical lighting through our GFRC sleeve system, similar to how we can affect it in daylighting. For our water diagram, we can see the sawtooth roof system that we have created that directs water towards the beams and out towards the exterior of the building, towards pumps that feed the green wall on the green wall sleeves. In our green wall elevation, we can see how the green wall influences and interacts with the window system that sits behind it. Looking north on Water Street, we can see the south end of our building and the sharp cuts that create an opening in the first floor for the commercial space, as well as the 2 cuts on the second and third floors of the building. Looking west towards our building, we can see the double height window that spans just in front of our non-egress stairwell, as well as the double height space that we explored earlier. Finally, looking back at our building, we can see all of these pieces coming together, with the green wall affecting the outside of the building, our double height space, our unique double height columns, as well as all the other materials and cuts that help define our building.
Our project really distills down into using the aggregation allotted through the precast system that allows us to manipulate space and light. Thank you to PCI for this unique opportunity, and thank you for your time.